This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
You all ready for this?
This is a sham.
No. Y'all, just stop.
Get real.
Welcome to DBL. It's lovely to see you guys and lovely to see you. We're going to start this Monday with yet another mass shooting. Yep, this one just outside of Dallas on Saturday. So just to give you an update, this was the 197th mass shooting so far. Police say a 33-year-old man wearing tactical gear opened fire with an AR-15 style weapon outside an outlet mall, killing at least 8 people, including children. Many others were hurt in a hail of more than 100 bullets. The gunman was actually killed by a police officer who happened to be on the scene. Authorities have not released a motive, but they're investigating it as possible domestic terrorism after they found the shooter had a neo-Nazi content on social media. He was also reportedly wearing a badge that read RWDS, and you might hear that more and more. It's an acronym for right-wing death squads. Several eyewitnesses described the scene, including Raquel Lee, who said a store associate saved her life and 12 others. Take a look at what she said.
And the gunshots, it sounded like a war zone. It was horrifying, and it felt like you were in a dream, like just shock. But we were in a bathroom closet, and we were just in the closet trying not to be heard, crying, praying. People were trying to call 911. We couldn't dial out. I just remember thinking, oh God, he's coming in here next. And when I was crouching down, like, I hope we don't get hit by a bullet. And then the store associate saved our life.
Raquel said as she was leaving, she saw that store associate was among those killed. Another witness, who is a former police and Army officer named Steven Spanauer, he rushed to the scene after his son called to tell him what was going on. Let's take a listen at his witness testimony.
This could happen anywhere in the United States. It could happen to you. It could happen to you. Okay, and we're not immune from it. And last night I was processing a lot of emotions. I was heartbroken. Today I'm mad. Mental health didn't fire that gun. Okay, those people were killed with bullets. I saw the bullets. Okay, that's what killed those kids. Maybe he had a mental health issue, maybe it was treatable, but if that gun wasn't on the streets, chances are he might not would have had access to it.
So what do we think about what happened and the fact that this man who says he loves guns is now calling for a ban on automatic weapons? We do have reports the shooter was removed from the Army in 2008 due to some mental health issues. And at one point he tried to give CPR, that gentleman, Steve Spanauer, and turned a woman and her face was just gone. And there was no way to give CPR. I'm not holding back on this. I don't think we should. How are you guys feeling about the next Monday that we've had?
Yeah, I'll jump in.
Go for it, man.
Sorry, guys. It's just, this is what it is.
Why are you apologizing? You know, I was in LA this weekend with the kids, and to have this story come in, it hit me. Obviously this went down over the weekend, and we have such a history with mass shootings, not only in this country but on this show, that how we cover them has changed. And it's the only bright spot that I got from this, Erica, and it's this. We used to have mass shootings over the weekends, and by the time Monday came around, Kanye West would have done something, somebody would have won a title, and we wouldn't have. There were mass shootings we didn't cover on the weekends. But now it's still front and center on a Monday morning, which means that just using deductive reasoning, that means that it's still in the American consciousness as a total. So we as a group are starting to think about this more and more. It's not just like people, oh, it was that mental health, and no, he's a gang member. Everybody's thinking about this now. Like we always say, the walls are closing in. The only positive message that I'm getting from this now is last week we had retired Army folks saying they don't need to be guns. That's a Texas lawman. Is he woke too? Everybody is on the side of what's right. There are just a few individuals, and I've said it over and over again, we are under minoritarian rule right now. We have abortion, which is unpopular with the masses. It's still a thing. Guns, open carry, no permit, no training, super unpopular. It's still a law in Texas. This is what minoritarian rule looks like. It's the many being ruled by the few. We're living under it right now.
Is it positive that this Texas lawmaker is saying, I saw it, it's not mental health, it's the bullets? Is there a change in that?
Well, until you take money out of politics, nothing's going to change.
Right.
We're getting numb to that fact, and we all know what's going on. And stop with, you're going to take my guns away. No one's taking your, just stop with that argument, okay? We're at the point now in this society, when I say that shooter should be killed, again, shout out to that hero who did put down that shooter like an animal, like a dog that they are. And if they did get away with it, they should be put to death. That's my stance on that. People will push back and say, I'm not for the death penalty. You're not. Well, you know what? Let's change laws so nobody has straws anymore, so we save the turtles in California. Let's misgender somebody and have that person lose their job for the rest of their life. We're quick to attack everybody. When people's faces are getting blown off, and that's what's happening. Children are getting murdered. 197 mass shootings to this date. We start every Monday. Nothing's changed. No Republican is going to step up and say, we got to change gun laws. No Democrat's going to step up and say they got to change something on their side. Everyone's just going to keep filling their pockets and pretend like this isn't happening. But we're saving turtles in the ocean. I can't have a plastic straw anymore. Otherwise, I'm a bad guy. We're so numb to these shootings. But until it hits home, nobody cares. Nobody cares. People are more worried about what the Nuggets did last night than the mass shooting in Dallas. They're like, man, I lost $50 on the Nuggets. Someone's face got blown off. I don't know. What are you going to do? People like their guns, or you can't take away my guns.
But
when are we going to start agreeing?
I wonder if people feel like that, Erica, because everybody feels like we want to get rid of guns, but nothing changes.
I think it's interesting because I felt like until it hit home, but it is hitting home. It's hitting home. Like people are seeing themselves like it's this mass shooting like epidemic in this country has become so, it's the most diverse thing about America because literally you can be in any socioeconomic status, you can be any race, any gender,
doesn't discriminate
from any part of the country, and it literally affects you. So I think that I always thought, like, this is so crazy to me because when Sandy Hook happened, I was like, oh, okay.
Me too.
This is like people are going to be in the streets. Like there will be mass protests. There will be all of these things that we are going to see changes. I honestly thought that was like, oh my God. And not to put a hierarchy on the mass shootings in general, but that was the first time that it looked like that, where children who would normally be protected weren't, and then we forgot about it.
Yeah. There's a meme that went around the second the Sandy Hook happened, children were shot and we did nothing. That was the end of gun control as we saw it because nothing happened. I think Biden should put an end, a moratorium to any legislation unless there's a gun czar and there's legislation bipartisan on his desk. He puts a full stop. We'll be right back.
DBL, this show is amazing.
There's a lot going on down here.
I would have been part of the Mile High Club.
Yeah.
So on point.
But I'm gonna have a conversation about what's happening now.
We're live.
No, yeah. Well, Tori made a great point about Biden. I think that I can't imagine any legislation.
No, that's my whole
that
thing now.
Could even cross his desk that would have more priority than this.
This is my idea. You're Biden. You want to get reelected. Got it. There's politics in this. You've already done a 1994 federal assault weapons ban that you helped co-author while you were part of the Senate. You shut down the government. You elect a gun czar, possibly a 20-year-old from Parkland or someone that has been through it. You get people like Maxwell Frost, who's 29 and a representative in Congress, and you find someone maybe like Ben Sasse on the Republican side to meet, who's ever willing to discuss it, even in the least bit, comes to the White House. They don't leave that room until a compromise is made, until something happens. That will get Biden's base up. That will get in very disgusting terms politically, that's good for him, but it's good for the country, and it says I'm not moving the bar unless we discuss this epidemic.
That's issue with the Democrats, and that's they don't get anything done.
No, they don't politic well.
When Merrick Garland was up to be a Supreme Court justice when Obama was in,
they just ran through him.
He just somehow didn't get nominated. They said you can't do it. All of a sudden, Trump is in, He got Amy Coney Barrett in like 2 weeks.
Yep.
She'd only practiced law for, I think, 2 years.
Yeah, she'd like never
And
been in a
she's
major
young.
trial.
No, there was no question. It's just like when Republicans go to do something, it just seems like
So hot.
there's nothing we can do.
Right.
you
They
know?
play dirty, and for some reason, the Democrats play fair. And that's cool. That's awesome. That's great. But that doesn't get stuff done when politics is a mud-slinging bath of disgusting ogres. And that's what it is. They have egos. They want money. They want free flights. And they have the power. So what do? You shut it down. You shut it down. And you shut it down. Should I say it 3 times? Welcome back to DBL. How much do you hate getting to the airport only to find out your flight has been delayed or even canceled? Happened to me I didn't get to have Christmas. That's what happened to me. Should the airline have to compensate you?
Aren't you Jewish?
Yeah. I think my tradition and religion stop
She gets
it.
both. It's like when your birthday's on Christmas.
I haven't
or
had
something.
Christmas since I was born. It's the airline's fault.
How dare you? That's what the Biden administration is trying to do with some new regulations. So check this out. The rules would require airlines to pay customers beyond a ticket refund to cover expenses, including meals, hotel rooms, even handing out actual cash or miles when customers are stranded. What do we think of this? I'm going to Schroeder immediately. I think you must be all for this.
I am all for this.
Okay.
Here's my only, I think we're all going to be all for this, right? My only hesitation is that I don't want airlines saying we got to get this fixed or it's going to cost us $500,000 because we're going to have all these delays. Let's just throw some nuts and bolts and bubble gum on this, and then an airline crashes. Then we're like, well, was it worth a ticket voucher
That
for a
is a
free drink?
fabulous
that
point.
you bubble gum that together. So it's like that's my only fear because I don't like flying as it is. And if people are like, listen, we just got to get this thing in the air, that's not what I want.
You just
when
raised
I fly.
a very terrifying point.
Yeah.
I don't
Everybody in the room was like, oh.
I know.
Yeah.
You're right.
That's a really great point. I mean, at the end of the day, Copy, it's going to come down to capitalism, and there are 2 issues at work here. One, the monopolization of the airlines. You guys are around my age. Do you remember when there were like a bunch of airlines? There was like Northwest. There was
Pan
a couple,
Am, TWA.
Wow.
Okay.
But there was Continental. There was U.S.
Maybe
Airways.
some of us aren't around your age.
There used to be Value Jet. There was like a bunch of random airlines, and now it's just a few. So Southwest falls apart, and now Tori. Tori, your mom is sick a lot.
And I haven't seen my mother-in-law in a year, in a full year.
It's terrible.
And we got $82 back. 82.
What?
82, and your luggage was lost for
25 days. $82. I already have a complaint. I'm already trying to do more. There's very little you can do. These people are stuck with thousands of dollars. They miss births. They miss deaths. They have babies, formulas that got thrown. It was awful, and there was just so little recompense that it's frustrating.
Because what are you going to do, Erica? Where are you going? You going to drive?
I was thinking about the day that I got delayed and how much it actually ended up costing me. But then after hearing Jeff's theory, I'm like, I'll just eat it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Just get me there.
Yeah.
But no, you think about it, it's kind of like we talk about, concerts and stuff. Like I dropped my dog off.
Monopoly.
Yeah, I dropped my dog off at the pet hotel. Then I I drove to the airport, and now you're talking about paying for that fee overnight. And then I had to have dinner at a certain point. So then you're like, okay, then the flight's canceled. I might have had 2 glasses of wine, so I had to Uber home.
Right.
So it's like, it's a lot. It's a lot.
It is a lot.
I just have an issue with the term pet hotel. The dog doesn't know what it is. It's just in another building.
It's a pet hotel with a concierge.
It's a building.
Stop it. Coming up on DBL, royals, world leaders, and celebrities gathered for the coronation of King Charles. We're talking all about the big event. That's coming up next.
I saw an Instagram claim prompting the question, is it true decaf coffee and tea contain chemicals from the decaffeination process? Our sources are the Food and Drug Administration, Consumer Reports, the Environmental Protection Agency, the Clean Label Project, and Alice Smith, a registered dietitian. Consumer Reports explains there are 3 methods to remove caffeine from regular coffee beans. The most common use is a chemical solvent called methylene chloride or dichloromethane. The second method uses liquid carbon dioxide, and the third, called the Swiss water process, uses only water and is the most expensive.
The carbon dioxide and water methods are chemical-free, whereas the solvent method relies on synthetic chemicals. However, the FDA limits the amount of chemical solvents allowed in decaf coffee, and these small amounts are not shown to negatively impact your health.
The U.S. Food and Drug Administration's Code of Federal Regulations states the coffee residue from the chemical solvent can't exceed 10 parts per million, which is a 1,000%. The FDA maintains it's safe in this minuscule amount. How do you find out the method used in your decaf coffee? The answer isn't black and white.
There are no specific labeling rules that disclose exactly how your coffee was decaffeinated. If you want to be sure that synthetic solvents were not used, look for the organic seal. The organic seal prohibits not only pesticides, but chemical solvents during processing also.
The nonprofit Clean Label Project tested dozens of popular brands and has a list of those in which it detected methylene chloride. So what about tea? Smith said the same decaffeination methods apply to tea and suggested looking for tea that's naturally caffeine-free and full of antioxidants. In conclusion, we verified, yes, some decaf coffees and teas contain chemicals from the decaffeination process, though the amount is small.
Well, that was pitchy, Katy Perry. Let's be honest. Welcome back. She was singing Roar at yesterday's concert at Windsor Castle, celebrating the coronation of King Charles III. And we have our resident Brit, Stephanie Jones, and Al with his perspective.
Good to see
Welcome,
you.
Stephanie.
British accent, I'm ready.
I will not. I will be canceled for that.
Yeah,
That's how bad it would be.
it would be awful. Now, the 2-hour ceremony was full of pomp and pageantry and tradition as Charles was officially crowned king. Prince William then pledged his loyalty and allegiance to his father and then touched Charles's crown and kissed his dad on the cheek. Princess Kate also looked regal in her royal robe and twinned with her daughter, Princess Charlotte. Both wore matching Alexander McQueen gowns and silver floral headpieces. But everybody was talking about Harry, Prince Harry, who arrived at Westminster Abbey alone and then was seated in the 3rd row with his cousins. To add insult to injury, Princess Anne's feathers were in her hat obstructed his face.
Looks like he's texting anyway.
During the procession. Later, when the royal family appeared on the balcony, the famous one at Buckingham Palace, Harry was noticeably absent as only the senior working royals were present. And Andrew was also not there, which is a good thing.
Absolutely.
What do we think? How did you feel?
I absolutely loved it. I relished in it. I watched it twice, which was a total of 6 hours plus on my Saturday, back to back.
You watched it back to back?
Hardcore, in it, absorbed.
Okay, so tell
with
talk
tea
to
and
us.
shortbread and lived my best life.
What are you looking for when you do like the pageantry, like the song? Like what are you into about the event?
The entire thing, you know, like watching the people of England being so happy, celebrating, having time together, watching the king finally be crowned. You know, that's something he's worked for his whole entire life. He's been waiting for. One of the biggest moments of his life when obviously his mother has passed and he's like now taking on this huge responsibility. The beautiful moments, we saw a clip of it where William was pledging allegiance to him and he kissed his dad on the cheek and it was like so heartwarming, totally out of protocol and so cute.
It looked like dad almost choked up a little bit.
Yeah.
Did you see his face when he kissed him?
It was
I think maybe just because I lost my dad, like I noticed stuff like that.
That moment was really special.
What did you guys think of the American perspective? Did it feel weird to you? Did it feel antiquated? Did it feel lovely?
I felt jealous.
Did you?
Yeah,
That's
I
what
was like,
Rashay
this
said,
is what they're
weirdly, yeah.
doing this weekend. We're like going through another mass shooting. I was like, for as much as a lot of Americans might say that's silly, I was like, I'd much rather be doing some kind of coronation process to celebrate our country rather than getting ready to do the story as I was this Saturday.
Yeah, I appreciate the tradition. I like that. It's almost like I was watching a movie, right?
Yeah,
like,
no, exactly.
Again, I don't know why I'm fascinated with that crown. Like, kings of past, the older than our country, have wore that crown.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool to me. I like stuff like that. So a lot of people say that might be outdated, but I enjoy the tradition. As a Brit, do you enjoy it as well? Or do you feel like it's outdated?
No, and I think there was obviously it is very traditional. This is something that's been going on for centuries, like way longer than obviously than America's existed.
I know,
right?
yeah.
But I loved seeing how Charles modernized it. There were so many modernized points. There were so many women leading in only male-dominated roles that have not been allowed to do that. We saw gospel choirs. We saw modern music. We saw Anne being his official bodyguard, the Royal Golden Stick.
Yeah, you guys know
incredible.
what that is? The Golden Stick in waiting is the bodyguard for the king, and it was Princess Anne, and she rode a horse with the feathers and protected the king. And it was the first time a woman has taken the Golden Stick in waiting position.
It's like Game of Thrones.
Yes, very Game of Thrones. Yeah, but I was here for it. I thought it was amazing. I was so proud. It went flawlessly and in good British style. It was pouring with rain, but it didn't stop anyone enjoying themselves.
Now, it didn't stop this man either. A lot of people thought this man was actually Meghan Markle in disguise.
Crazy, right?
Now, let's take a look and see here. What do we have the picture?
I mean, come on.
He does look like he's wearing a disguise.
He looks like a Guess Who character. So he's actually a composer. He's sitting next to Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Yeah.
So he's the Hans Zimmerman of England, you said?
Oh, absolutely. He's written and produced and created like half the songs that were produced in the coronation. He is literally phenomenal.
Who is he?
He's a composer.
He's a composer.
Do we have his name?
Carlin something, is that correct?
Sir Carl.
Excellent.
Do British people? This is the dumbest question. Do British people?
Jenkins.
Carl Jenkins. Carl Jenkins. Thank you.
I'll be honest, I saw him and I was like, who is that next to Andrew Lloyd Webber, like one of our national treasures? Who is he? And I saw all these crazy memes. There he is. Look at him.
Do British people, do you guys celebrate Halloween?
Yeah.
Oh, you do? I don't know. I don't even know where it came from. I was just thought it was an American thing. But that's a good Halloween costume, is what I'm saying.
I think, you know what, that wouldn't surprise me if people did dress up as him for Halloween this year, because I'll be honest, I didn't know who he was. And then actually it was a woman called Miley Class. She's a famous classical pianist and ex-pop star in the United Kingdom. And she did a rundown of all of the tracks he's created, and it's actually incredible. So many that I had no idea.
So it wasn't Meghan Markle in a wig and a mustache?
It was not Meghan Markle, no.
Okay, and there was also something very interesting. Katy Perry, she couldn't find her seat. She found her seat, and she roared.
And she looked incredible in Vivienne Westwood. Her style was impeccable. Look at that hat.
A little lost. She's a little lost, but she found it.
Bless her. I mean,
she found it at
that
some
is
point.
a circus right there, and she is fighting her way through,
You're
but
right.
she did well.
She roared. We'll be right back.
With the weather warming up in the Carolinas, more people will probably be getting their pools ready for swimming and lounging. But it's also important to protect your furry family members as they start to venture out near the pool. A viral photo circulating around Facebook and Reddit shows a simple doormat could actually help save the lives of your pet and wildlife if they fall into the pool. But does this trick actually work? Let's verify. To get answers, we went to Jenna Arsenault with Catawba County Animal Services and the Humane Society of the United States. In the photo, someone has attached a rubber doormat to the edge of the pool. The post claims an animal who has fallen in an unsupervised pool can use it to climb out. Arsenault says this method does work and she's seen some success with it, but also notes there are better alternatives that are also cost effective.
And something like the doormat method, which we have seen some individuals use before, can be successful for smaller mammals and reptiles that may accidentally make their way into a pool that they may not, or shouldn't be in.
Arsenault says for smaller wildlife animals like squirrels and frogs, this method is perfect. But for medium and larger breed dogs, the doormat would likely not be able to support the weight of the animal.
You would want to use something that's a little bit sturdier to support their body weight.
She says there are some pretty cheap pool ramps on Amazon, but you could also DIY something similar.
There's actually some really good resources too on websites like Pinterest with some DIY home solutions that can be done with PVC pipe, and pool noodles.
According to the Humane Society of the United States, backyard swimming pools can be deadly for wildlife. The Humane Society says there are some simple pool precautions homeowners can use to help dramatically lower the danger to animals, like installing one or more water exit devices or placing a knotted nylon rope along the side, securing them to the pool edge. So we can verify that yes, a simple rubber doormat attached to the edge of a pool could save the life of a smaller pet or wildlife. But for larger breed animals, a pool ramp is advised. With your Verify, I'm Megan Bragg.
This May, escape to paradise with a family all-inclusive vacation experience to any of the beach's resorts, with 3 spectacular locations in the Caribbean to choose from. Watch DBL every day for a word of the day. Then enter at dailyblastlive.com/beaches for your chance to win a 4-day, 3-night beaches resort stay for a family of 4 to a beaches resorts destination in Jamaica or Turks and Caicos. The winner will be announced on DBL May 24th. Stop dreaming and start entering for your chance to win the perfect family getaway, where everyone will enjoy the Caribbean's best beaches and everything all included. Escape to paradise for your chance to win the perfect family getaway. Watch DBL every day for a word of the day. Then enter at dailyblastlive.com/beaches for your chance to win a 4-day, 3-night beaches resort stay for a family of 4 to a beaches resorts destination in Jamaica or Turks and Caicos. Today's beaches resorts word of the day is swim. The winner will be announced on DBL May 24th.
Welcome back. If you're finding it difficult to stick to a workout routine, just know you're definitely not alone. It's time for some joint and muscle support brought to you by Omega XL. It's hard to stay motivated when it comes to exercise, but routines take time to build. Here are some simple tips. First, start by showing up because it's more than half the battle. You don't even have to do a full workout, but you'll feel motivated with the effort you made to get there. Next, start with something easy. Consider making your warm-up longer and don't jump into high-intensity exercise if you're not feeling it. Lastly, choose your vocabulary wisely. Use words with positive associations to describe how you're feeling. For example, instead of calling exercise uncomfortable, call it intense. Omega XL has improved the lives of millions of consumers, supported by 30 years of clinical research. Omega XL's powerful and proven benefits have transformed the lives of athletes, celebrities, and dedicated daily users. So call 1-800-813-6801 or visit omegaxl.com for more information.
I like that one. Literally, like if you show up, you'll get it done. It's just getting there. That is definitely more than half the battle. At least it is for me.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I actually really like that ad. What were you going to say? It resonated with me for different reasons. Totally. I always say, like, for me, if I don't want to work out, I stand up and I go near the equipment. I just put my hand on the bike because once I'm touching it, then I'm like, well, I'm here now.
That's smart.
Yeah,
That's really good.
It's so dumb, but that's what I do. That's why I resonate.
That's cute. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.